Hey everybody, welcome to Focus Garage. Today we're coming at you from the casting couch with an update on the 2019 Mazda 3. You want to start this one off?
Oh, absolutely, because I love Mazdas. So the new design they come up with, this Mazda 3, we kind of covered it in our Chicago Auto Show video if you guys are supporter.
Long-time followers. Yeah. This is almost a year ago now, so
yeah,
true OGers.
Thank you. Anyway, so we were at the Chicago Auto Show, and we're talking to some of the representative at the Mazda 3 booth, and they kind of told us that what the future product's going to be for the Mazda, like the options for the Mazda 3 and then the Mazda 6.
They kind of just told us, some big changes are coming.
Yeah.
And we wanted to ask this representative, without getting too far losing his job, what can you tell us?
Yeah, and he went ahead and told us that Mazda 3 might get an all-wheel drive and then might have a diesel option, and along with the Mazda 6 having an all-wheel drive and diesel option, which came out like a couple weeks later. And we just wanted to record this video to kind of like a reaction.
Is that like an I told you so?
I don't know, whatever you want to call that. But we want to cover the Mazda brand new 2019 Mazda 3, where you can order it early 2019, so it's like January, February time frame.
Arriving, I think, early summer, midsummer.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about the engine options. We're gonna talk about the drivetrain options. We're gonna talk about the transmission. We're gonna talk about the interior and exterior of the car, which is I love it. The design language they're using, I love it. So.
You want to start off with that?
Hey, let's start off with the design. And go ahead. What do you think about it? I mean, everybody knows that I love it. I want to know your...
I'm also a big Mazda fan. We did that Miata video a little while back. But one of the neatest things about Mazda is the design language. Now, a lot of brands kind of go for, a shared similarity look with their cars, but Mazda really pulls us off in a sharp way. Their design language is called Kodo. Yeah. Maybe Kodo. I could be pronouncing
I'm sure
it wrong.
Someone is going to...
Enkai. But, they have a shared design language with their cars, and with this newest iteration of the Mazda 3, it's very evident, what route they're trying to go with that car. I mean, it's a very, very sleek car, and right down from the exterior to the interior, these cars look like something and feel like something that is much more premium than what you're actually paying for. They've really kind of gone above that compact class and made the car feel substantial, and they look absolutely great.
Yeah, they're like, what can we do best? And how our car is gonna look far away from those economy designs where everything looks the same when you compare
cookie cutter.
Yeah, exactly. And they're we're gonna do something extremely on the design side. We're gonna spend so much time, so much effort, engineering hours, and they come up with a beautiful car that gets incredible amount of gas mileage when you compare it, because all these cars look the same because of the wind tunnel. They go through the wind tunnel and they look at that
certain drag coefficients, all that.
Yeah, so they try to match it, and then they look the same. But Mazda just doing this beautiful car, getting extreme amount of diesel gas mileage. We're gonna talk about it later on in the video, and the car looks beautiful. The front end looks awesome. The rear end looks awesome. The side, maybe not a lot of people are going to like.
There's going to be a lot of conflict about that, rearmost pillar on the hatchback version. The
C-D pillar coming together and becoming they basically got rid of that pointless window.
A lot of cars have fake windows there. Yeah. So this has just pretty much metal. You got this metal piece, and I think I saw a automotive enthusiast have their hand over it. It's like 2 hand widths. You can put it over there. It's a big piece of metal, but it differentiates the car. It makes it look different from everything else that you're going to see on the road.
And I think for that, it looks unique, and it looks... it's not... I can't really call it beautiful, but I think overall, when you look at it...
It's striking, that's what I would say.
Entire package, I think it's a beautiful car.
Yeah, so... Without jumping too far ahead, one thing I want to say, too, that I really appreciate that Mazda does is they keep the cars... I don't want to say enthusiast focused, but they still make them fun to drive.
Yeah.
This is still going to be offered with a manual transmission, depending on, obviously, your drivetrain setup, all-wheel drive, whatever. And Mazda has always made their cars fun to drive,
Yeah, the suspension design and the chassis
the steering,
design,
the chassis, all that. These cars, they keep them engaging to drive. And, from what we could tell from, the press releases and what they're saying about this most recent one, it's going to be the exact same thing. They're still going to offer it with a manual. They're still going to have the car with, good steering, good suspension. It's going to be something that's engaging, which you don't get in most economy cars.
No,
I'm not knocking a Corolla or something like that, but, it's lifeless. You don't buy a Corolla because you want to drive.
I would not say that for Corolla, because the new chassis, the new one might be
for the last 25 years.
For the last 25 years. Well, compared to, when you compare it to Focus and the regular Golf, Mazda 3 we're talking about like not the Golf GTI, not the Focus ST,
like
or the
regular
RS,
economy cars, not hot hatch, not performance models.
Even like the Subaru, like the Impreza, like I know it's not the same chassis as the WRX.
Similar buyers though.
Yeah, but like when you look at those, Mazda 3 comes out on top with their design and with their drive connection, like where the suspension set up.
It's not just an appliance; it's an extension of you.
It's not an A to B car. It's like
something you can get in, enjoy to drive, right?
Exactly.
So, do you want to talk about the powertrains on these things?
Before we go that, let's talk about the interior since we'll go
design language.
Yeah.
All right.
So the interior, they have this beautiful. The options that are in this is like as beautiful as the Mazda 6, so you can get, and also like the even the center console, it looks like.
That's my biggest thing is the center console. You still got the tablet on the dash type look, but the way this interior flows, they say fit and finish is going to be really good. I think they've even said if you opt for a wood grain option, it's real wood. Did they say that?
Because it's the same thing in the Mazda 6.
Real wood, real leather. Yeah, in a freaking less than $30,000 car.
I think it's a prestige option or whatever that they call it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get real wood grain, real leather in a compact economy car, but the overall design language of the interior of the car is very flowing. Everything has a place. It's not crowded.
So it makes sense. Like, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why would you have that? But like, kind of like when you look at the overall design, it doesn't look. It doesn't.
It's more integrated than like a Mercedes or like something like an Audi A3.
Even like the old generation, the Mazda 3, like the 2018 Mazda 3 has a sticking out too far out, and this is like kind of. And it's almost like out of space. They didn't know where to put it, and they just like throw it in there.
Yeah.
But this one is like they made the interior that it's like accept that sticking out. It works very well. And let's move on to the drivetrain since you are eager to talk about.
I'm gonna let you talk about them because you seem to be a big fan of this engineer. You've got some engineering background. So when you were talking to the Mazda rep last year, you were very interested by this one particular.
I'm a fake
engine.
Engineer. Let's get that.
It's fake engineering. There's still some kind of engineering in it. So tell them about that groundbreaking.
So
engine.
They have this. So the first year, 2019, Mazda 3 is not going to come with this the groundbreaking engine, which has spark plug controlled ignition, not spark plug ignition. So there's a slight difference, but it's a big difference that makes it a difference.
We could probably make a whole video on that, so we're not going to get too far into how that works and what it does.
There's a lot of videos
out there. What are the benefits
of
it? What does it do?
So the benefit is you're basically getting diesel economy on a gasoline engine.
And it does it via the compression, right?
Yep. It uses the compression and it uses the
spark timing.
Fuel pressure. Like the regular car comes with like you get like 80 psi, 60 psi on the fuel rail. Even like the direct injection, you get like 1500 or something like that.
1500 to 1800, yeah.
This is gonna have. This is gonna have really high fuel pressure, which makes it mist just like diesel, and you can have the compression ratio as high as diesel. So you really don't need the spark. You just need the help to start it in the top, and then it goes all around. And it makes it the most efficient way to get the power. And they were having some problems with the knock earlier on, so they throw a supercharger on it. And now this engine is actually supercharged 2-liter, and you have that low end power of the supercharger, and then the high end of. So it's a marvelous design, and the Mazda 3 is gonna get it in 2020, I believe. The new one, the 2019, is gonna get the 2.5. And then the old 2.0, which they're still getting great gas mileage when you compare it to the other cars. And I don't think we're going to get this. The other two options that are interesting is the 1.5 naturally aspirated 4-cylinder and then 1.8 turbo diesel.
Yeah, so, I think that's going to be probably more for European markets where there's stricter emission standards, stricter, displacement size laws, things like that. So
and a lot of more diesel buyers after what happened with
Volkswagen.
Yeah, I was gonna say quietly, but Volkswagen, and not a lot of people are looking to get
diesels here. Even like BMW, they said they're shifting what they're doing from diesels to electric cars because they, whatever.
But
different topic.
But this car, Mazda 3, gets 5 different engine options,
which is cool because it shows you how modular this chassis is and everything. That they're building this car that can accept such a wide variety of engines.
And what I heard, I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
It's not gonna happen. But what I heard is that the 2.5 turbo, I believe that it's on the CX-5 and CX-9, could fit in the Mazda 3. They confirmed it from the Mazda representatives and the I think the chief designer. It could fit. But they said that they're not doing Mazda Speed 3. Let's just get that out of the way.
Right.
They said it's
no
childish.
interest in that.
It's childish. This is the second time they called Mazda Speed 3 childish.
Yeah.
So
it's sad that they get that kind of pushback, but it is what it is. But something I was going to say that's interesting with that 2.5 is that they have a larger displacement engine where you're seeing small displacement turbocharged engines being very, very popular in the market. You see Volkswagen, they've got like the 1.4 turbo, and they're putting that in everything in a 1.8 turbo. Yeah, Mazda, they're running with the 2.5.
Yeah.
So to see that difference, they're not following the same suit as everybody else is.
no. And I like it because it's just they're still getting good gas mileage and they're still getting good power because I think the 2.5 still makes like 180 horsepower and
which is enough in a car
yeah.
like that. If you want something more, you're gonna buy something different.
I mean, it's not a sports car. It's not a hot hatch. It's an economy car, but it's a beautiful economy car. Let me tell you that.
All right, do you want to move on to the next thing that's gonna trigger all the super bros out there?
Oh my God! So
super bros.
let's talk about the drivetrain. Well, we talked about the engine. Let's move on to the drivetrain, which is the
you got your two choices: 6-speed automatic, 6-speed manual.
Well, that's the transmission, yeah. But yeah, 6-speed automatic, 6-speed transmission, manual, automatic. Yeah, they're both 6-speed. I driven the 6-speed automatic. I convinced my brother to get one. Mazda 3. He was looking. This was like 3 years ago when he was looking at economy cars. He's not a car enthusiast as much as I am.
And he loves it, right?
And he loves it. And I drove it, and it responds pretty good. It's not horrible.
It's not in a fancy 8-speed. It's not a fancy dual clutch, but gets the job done.
Gets the job done, and you have a great efficient engine with along with the transmission. So you get like for that car, he still gets like really high gas mileage for the city and highway. So you're still having these transmissions. They're not changing anything, but the all-wheel drive system and the front-wheel drive system is gonna be the drivetrain option for this car. You're gonna have the iActive all-wheel drive system, which is amazing. If I read it correctly, heard it correctly, it has 60% more less mechanical drag in the system compared to their old all-wheel drive system.
So they've done a lot of research and power loss and everything like that. So yeah, the previous outgoing all-wheel drive system compared to this, there's significantly less power loss. So what that'll mean is all the power that engine's making, it's going to be put down to the wheels a lot better than the outgoing all-wheel drive.
And you're
model.
going to have much more the curve and all that stuff.
Yep.
Power curve is
much
going to
more
be much
power.
Yeah. And then also this iActive system in the CX-5 uses a temperature of the outside to determine if it's like, if it's cold temperature, it will determine that, hey, it's cold temperature, so it might snow or it might you're in a bad road condition. So the system is waiting, ready. And
it's an intelligent all-wheel drive.
Yeah, it kicks in like that so fast that almost feels like it's a full-time all-wheel drive system when you compare it to Hondas or like the Nissans or
they only work in
the VW. Yeah, even like the VW, there's no delay almost in the system. So it's a fantastic drivetrain, and I'm glad Mazda is using this on the Mazda 3. And this was like a surprise. Nobody, well, except us. Really.
Maybe a few other people,
but nobody really expecting Mazda to throw the all-wheel drive system in this chassis because
bold move, Mazda, bold move.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody else besides basically Subaru throws all-wheel drive system.
In their compact cars.
Yeah. And even Subaru uses CVT, which sucks in that car.
And to elaborate a little bit further on that too, with an all-wheel drive in the car, it's another interesting move, another bold move to see because. It's not that whole shift towards crossovers and compact crossovers. They still have this sedan, they still have this hatchback where they see value and they're putting research development dollars into this.
Right.
And they're offering it with this, crazy, efficient engine. They're offering it with all-wheel drive. They're still giving you a manual, which we don't know if it'll come with the all-wheel drive. Most likely not. But they're still putting all this time, money, and research into something that a lot of other manufacturers are just cutting out. I mean, look at Ford, look at the recent Chevy GM thing. They're cutting sedans, cutting that stuff out of their lineup. And here's Mazda spending tons and tons of money making this car better,
I mean, the design language, the interior design, the engineering.
This is what it takes to be successful.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And that's why a lot of people buy Mazdas because they drive fantastic, they get great gas mileage, and they're more adult looking cars, then
they're mature. And
Yeah.
it doesn't look like this cheap car that you bought as an
No.
appliance. It looks like something that you bought that's, you know, upmarket,
Yeah.
and, you know, shows you kind of care about your appearance a little bit. I mean, I'm sure their whole, you know, marketing manager and their brand manager can explain to you what they're trying to capture with that.
Right.
But it makes a lot more of a statement than showing up with, like, you know, a Ford Fiesta or a Ford Focus or something like that.
yeah, I mean,
you know?
it just the design, the way the front grille looks, it's amazing. And also, this car is like less than $30,000.
We'll cover pricing real quick because Onder and I had an argument before this video where I'm like, yeah, but you know, the fully loaded Grand Touring is probably going to be like, you know, low 30s. And he's like, no, like the last one was like 25, 26. And I priced one out on Mazda's website. I think it was a 2018 model. Fully loaded is like 27 and some change.
Right,
Which,
that's MSRP, and I'm sure you can get a good deal on the
which don't get me wrong, isn't cheap, but it's cheaper than competitors. You know, like a fully loaded Civic, I think, is almost $30,000 now, and that's
Wow.
not like an SI, not a Type R, like a touring Civic with a turbo engine. So
That's a lot of money.
so this is, you know, they've really
Even Camrys. I mean, even the Corollas.
Corollas now too, when
Yeah.
you get them nicely optioned. You know, like they really sucker you into making you want all that tech, so you tick all those option
And
boxes.
that's why I'm okay with Mazda. I'm okay with Mazda not coming out with the Speed 3 or Speed 6. You know, they're putting
put their money somewhere else. Put all their eggs in a different basket.
Yeah, and they are saying that they're gonna use this Skyactiv, I think the X engine. That's what it's called.
I was gonna make a joke and you just ruined it. I was gonna say we've gone this whole video talking about Mazda and we haven't said the word Skyactiv once. I don't think.
Well, I ruined that for you.
So
right
they'll
there.
plaster it all over the car. They'll put it on the roof, the hood, the engine, the trunk. But now you've said it, so damn.
Oh, wow, sorry. But I mean, this Skyactiv X technology, they're thinking about putting this. They're saying they might be putting this into the rotary engine. They're gonna. Come
I was going to say they're using this technology in this, you know, one engine, but they're going to transfer it into other models,
Yeah.
other engines as well, because, you know, given that as long as this technology works, once they've got it in mass market in a bunch of cars, it should be something that's going to be very, very effective, and it should sway a lot of buyers from other brands. So.
And then look at it. No, everybody else is using something called Atkinson cycle engine
Atkinson cycle, yeah.
for their hybrid, and Mazda is like, you know what? Forget that.
We don't need that.
We're gonna put the rotary engine in it, and we're gonna make it work with the hybrid, and we're gonna get better gas mileage than anyone else. So for that, kudos to you, Mazda. We love you seeing you in the stateside, and we want you to bring the cool cars that you have in the anywhere else. You know, we want to see the diesel. I don't know who else, like if anyone else would buy it, but you know, I want to see it.
Right,
I want to
just
see
to
the
have
competition. I want to see Mazda stepping up to where they should be. It's a great company. Their cars are as good as the Audi, or like the quality wise, you know. Quality wise,
for the price, I mean, I can't argue that. I mean, I'm not gonna say like, you know, they're hand in hand, but like for the price for what you're paying, it's an incredible car for the money.
have you sit in the Mazda 6 Prestige?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very nice car.
Yeah.
Maybe the design language is different in other cars, but yeah, the materials and stuff, it's nice.
I don't know. It was much
This
better
isn't a
than
Mazda 6 video. It's a Mazda 3 video.
Well,
We're probably at like, I don't know,
they're gonna
close to 20 minutes now. So you want to start to wrap this up though,
yeah,
before we start
sorry,
to argue
let's
about
not,
Audis?
let's not get into that. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And if you guys have any questions and comments about it,
Let us know your thoughts, because
yeah.
this is something that, you know, I think it's going to put a fire under other manufacturers to kind of pay attention to these lower model cars and really try to innovate them, because what they've done here is they've stepped out of the box. You know, they're not doing the same old with little boring refreshes. They're offering stuff that people want that is different. It should be successful for
They
them.
actually listen to people.
Yep.
That's one thing that I really like Mazda.
And that
about
actually,
Mazda.
that came from the guy that we talked to at the auto show last year, and just from reports that I've seen, they base their branding and like their innovation a lot on consumer feedback.
Right, their entire design is based on what the
Consumers
consumer
want.
wanted.
That's why their cars aren't dead to drive. They still know there's people out there that enjoy driving cars. So
I mean, not a lot of people want to have that feeling with their car, but I mean, Mazda is like, you know what? There's a good percentage of people that want to feel like they're driving a car,
and we're gonna keep that.
Yeah, we're gonna keep that.
But yeah.
So, yeah, and make sure to share and subscribe if you have not, and then push the bell button, get all the notifications. Mike and I are over here talking BS about a bunch of other stuff. And
we'll respond to comments because we love having our phones blow up and argue with people about dumb shit.
Yeah,
I swore, but whatever.
There goes the entire thing. But anyway, we love you guys. We love Mazda. Thank you very much. Kudos to all.
Catch you in the next one.